All right, so basically, so what we're going to look at today is we're going to cover three different things. We're going to look at OneDrive, we're going to look at the school portal document libraries, and we're going to look at Teams, not the whole thing, but just where files are stored in Teams. So this will go through till 10:30. It'll be recorded, and I'll also put links so that people can go back to the specific things that we're looking at. But we're really talking about document storage, where you can store your documents, how you can share them, just how do you work with them. So I'm just going to open up. We're going to start with OneDrive, portals, then Teams. So I'll just open up OneDrive here. No, you can't see that yet. Sorry, I clicked the wrong thing. Send live. All right, so I can see now that you can see Office 365. So how do you get to OneDrive and what is it? And why do you want to use it? So OneDrive is where we're advising people store their documents now. Back in the day, we used to use My Documents and we used to store them on our computer. It was a folder called My Documents. We put everything in there so we knew where it was. I think that got changed a few years ago just to the word documents, and so we use that. Or really commonly people would save things on the desktop. So we're trying to move away from that, because that means that anything you save into documents or the desktop, anything you save into those locations is only on that device. So it's only on that computer. In the same way that any documents that you save on the server are only on the server, and you can only get to them when you're connected to the server, which is usually when you're at school. So the difference with OneDrive is that it works, OneDrive is in the cloud. So every staff member, every student in Catholic education has a Office 365 account, which means that they can use OneDrive, and you can use all the other apps that you can see on the screen here, except Outlook, because we have our mail and calendar and Gmail. But we're going to look at OneDrive first of all. So to get from your web browser to get to OneDrive, you can just type in office.com, and then you'll need to log in using your Catholic education work account or school account. Probably the main reason, or one of the main reasons for using OneDrive, is that when you use OneDrive and the documents are in the cloud, it means that they're backed up and available from wherever you are. You don't have to go back to that same computer to open your files and to get them. You can open documents in OneDrive, which I'll just open up my OneDrive now. You can open up documents using the OneDrive app on your phone. You can use a OneDrive app on a tablet. You can use any web browser like I'm doing here. So if I was in a school and I just got given a laptop to use as a relief teacher, I can pop that open up the web browser, log into Office and access all of my documents. I don't need to go back to that same computer. So if you were using, a few people were using Google Drive before this, Google Drive is all in the cloud. So this is the same thing, same idea. All right, so I've opened up OneDrive here and you can see it shows OneDrive in the top left. So this is where I am. If I wanted to go back to any of the other Office 365 apps, I can click on that app launcher there and I could move between some of the other documents, the other apps, and access them from here. But I want to just go through what we're looking at and how to use OneDrive and just the different things you can do on documents. So for a start, it shows me my files. So this is what's in my OneDrive. So I'm able to do anything in here. I can go through, I could, these are different folders and documents down here. Nothing really new. If I go into my demo folder, I've got these different demo documents, Word documents, PowerPoint. Microsoft say that OneDrive can store like over 250 different file types. So most of what we use is stored here, no problem. But if I open up, I'll just open up this demo blank document, and I'll just left click on it, and you'll notice that it opens up still in the browser. So it's a Word doc, but it's not opening Word. It'll just open up in a new tab, which is done here. It's a demo doc. I can start editing. edit that document. Remember, this document lives in my OneDrive. It's called demo blank doc. Because it's in OneDrive, it'll save as I edit it. So I can see it's already saved. If I add something else, saving. Come on, say saved. Saving. Yes. I thought it was going to be one of those demos where it just doesn't actually do it, but it saved that document, so I can just close that tab. And this was the document here, demo document doc. So I've edited that document just in this web browser here. Didn't open Word, didn't download it, edit it, upload it, whatever. Didn't do all that. So you can just edit all the documents from OneDrive. Now, other things you can do. Most of the companies these days are using this more options ellipses, these 3 dots. So whenever you hover over things and you see those 3 dots, it's kind of like right clicking on a document. So if I just click those 3 dots, it's like when you right click on something on your computer. You can do different things. So for this document here, I can choose to open it in the browser, which I just did by default by clicking on the name. Or I can choose to open in the app. Now, if I click that, what it will do in this case is it'll open up the document, say, hey, this thing wants to open up Microsoft Word, is that okay? And I give it permission. So it's going to give me this document. Oh, hello. Catherine Dryden edited it as well. Unless that was already there, maybe I missed it. And I can type, I can't multitask very well, so I have to type what I'm thinking. I'm editing this document in Word now, and you can see that it's saving again. It's saving as I go. Autosave is on because it's a document that's saved in OneDrive. Now, I'm just going to close Word. It actually won't finish closing until the document says saved. So if I just close Word, here we go. So I was able to edit that document there from Microsoft Word on my laptop over here. So that's really cool, because if you start using Word online, you'll notice that some of the options in the browser version, some of the options in the app version on your computer don't exist yet in the browser. They keep updating it and they keep making it the fancier tools and features available in the browser. But if you open it in the app, it's the Word that you know that you've used for 20 years or more. In my case, more than 20 years, yeah. All right, so you can open things. You can actually preview documents as well. Maybe it's, you just want to have a quick look and see what's in there. So if I just click preview, I don't need to see info. Those are helpful, but I don't need to see it. So it just gives me a little preview of the document. I could do things maybe like, yeah, that's the one I wanted to print, and hit print, or download it, or open it, and it gives you the same options. Open in Word or open in Word Online. Okay, what else can we do? So on those 3 dots, you hear people calling them more options, ellipses, ... Preview, share. Okay, this is, I want to spend a couple of minutes on this here. Because the documents are in the cloud in OneDrive, OneDrive is your space. So it's where you save your documents, but you can still share documents from there with other people. My first advice would be that if it's a shared document, it should live in a shared space. So a shared space would be something like a document library on the portal, or the file section in a Microsoft team. So if there's a document, before you share something like this with other people, first of all think, okay, would this document be better off, instead of me owning it, instead of it being in my OneDrive and sharing it with those people, would it be better located somewhere that all of these people can access? So kind of think of it again like the server. If you put something on the server, it's because a whole lot of people want to get it. If you had something on your computer, then it's just, yeah, it's not recommended. All right, so if I want to share this document, I can click those the 3 dots, the more options, and click share. Now, by default, this little window pops up, and it does this by default. The out of the box, the CESIT default is that people that I specify here can edit this document. So this is pretty safe. Like, it's actually making me name the people who are here. So sorry, naming the people to share this with. So if I start typing Alison's email address and select her there, so that means that I've specified that Alison can open this document and she can edit it. I could also just type a quick message so she realizes that, oh, there's nothing, I don't actually have to edit this document, it's just Campbell doing another demo. And then if I click send, then she will get an email, and in the email it'll have a link to the document. It'll say, Campbell shared this document with you. She can click the link and open the document. And I'll show you where that shows up for her in OneDrive later on. If I didn't want her to edit it, I can just click in here and I can change, and I can say, okay, just let her read it. So I've unselected the editing option. So now Alison is specified and she can view it, so she can read that document. Other options that you see here when you're sharing, you can say, instead of saying specific people, instead of sending it just to a select few, you can say anyone with the link. So that will just create a link, and anybody you send it to, or anybody who has access to that link on the internet, can click it and access it however you've said. If you've said they can view it, anybody with the link can view it. If you've said they can edit it, anybody with the link can edit it. So yeah, be really careful using this one. Don't use that as your default ever. Okay, the next one down, people in Catholic Education Diocese of Cairns with the link, they can edit it or read it, whatever you specify. If I chose that one, what that would do is say that, okay, when they click the link, it will make them log in using their work or school email address, and that's the only way they'll get it. So I could choose that one and send the link to all teachers, for example. When they click the link, it'll say, okay, I need to know that you're part of CES. They click the link, it'll make them log in, and then they would access it. The third option, and this is more when you're when you're sharing a document that might be on the portal. People with existing access, it already looks at just at the location that the document is in, and it says, okay, only the people who can already access this location can open this file. So when you're sharing from OneDrive, it's only really useful if you've shared a folder. So for example, if I created a folder and called it document shared with Alison, and then I shared that whole folder with her, when it comes to sharing the document, I can say, okay, share this document with people who have existing access to that location. More relevant in a portal, and I'll cover that later on. But that's how you share a document. You can also say block download. You can turn that off or on, so they can just view it and read it, but they can't download their own copy and rewrite it and things like that. So I'll just click apply and see where we're at. So I'm saying people you specify can view. So Alison Forster, little message there, and I can click send, and that will send her an email. So that's how you share documents. I'd really like a lot of questions about sharing, because when you're sharing things from your OneDrive, you're starting to hand the keys out to people, and we don't do that with our homes too easily, so you should be really protective of your documents on here as well, especially this area, how you are sharing. Don't just share something and say to someone, can you access it, because you might have exposed it to anybody with the link. So it works for them, but it may work for everyone else. Just be really careful with sharing documents. And before I move on, let me just show you, I'll just jump down to shared now. So we're looking at my files. So if I click back on here, I'll go back to the top level. So this is my OneDrive that you're looking at now. If I go to shared, I can see all of the documents and files that people have shared with me, shared by these people, and just what it is. But I can also see shared by me. Now, I don't think I actually shared that document with Alison in the end, so it won't show up here. But these are all the documents that I've shared. So I can actually go back and have a look at something. If I look at the if I go to manage access, it'll show me who has got access to this. So I've actually created a, oh no, I haven't, no links. So I gave access to that document to Carmel, and she can edit it. So if I want to change that, I can say stop sharing, remove. So Carmel won't have access to that document anymore. It's still, is it still shared? No, it's not shared. It'll drop off that list sometime. All right, so that's sharing. Let me go back to my files and go back into that demo folder. Demo blank document was the one we're playing with. So let's go have a look at what other options we've got here. So share, copy link. This is, if I click copy link, you'll see it goes bang. It creates a link to the document. People with existing access can use the link. Useful in a portal, but for OneDrive, I would have to go back and say, okay, who am I going to share this with? So it's just a, you know what Microsoft are like. They have like 17 different ways to do something. That is more useful when you're in Teams and portal work. Manage access, I just showed you how that will show you who has access to it, and you can change it from edit to read, or you can delete it. If I wanted to download the document, just click that, delete it. This is important actually. If I do delete the document, okay, it deletes it out of OneDrive, and over here you'll see recycle bin. So if I click recycle bin, what OneDrive does, there it is there. What OneDrive does is when you delete something out of OneDrive, it puts it in the recycle bin for 30 days. And then it will stay there. Sorry, after 90 days, it will be deleted altogether. So you won't see it. You won't see it anywhere. But CES retains all of the documents. So they retain. They call it a retention. There's a retention policy on our documents. So they're able to, if we happen to delete something a year ago and it was really important, they can go back and restore it. So that's kind of useful to know, especially if you had maybe you had somebody sharing a document with you or sharing a folder of documents with you. Maybe they left and you didn't get access to it anymore, and it was something that was shared from their OneDrive. Then IT can kind of restore it and make it available. And that's one reason that we prefer things that are shared to be in a shared space, because that means if the person leaves CAF-Ed or if they change schools, we don't have to rely on them continuing to share their OneDrive with you because those documents are in a shared space. So I deleted that file. Here's how I can restore it. I can select it and I can just up here just go restore, and that will put it back where it was deleted from. So I go back to my files. Where is it? Maybe I have to refresh the page. Yay, there it is. Okay, demo blank doc. What else do we have on here that's really important? Move to and copy to is just, when you click these here, it just says, okay, where do you want to put it? Yeah, and I can start going, okay, I want to put it into my OneDrive, into chat files, or wherever I want to put it. That's just a way of moving the documents. Honestly, that's painful, which is why I'm going to show you how to work with OneDrive in a much easier way. Move and copy through here, yeah, painful. Rename it, yeah, I can click that and rename it. Automate, don't worry about. Version history is really cool. Version history, if I click it, you can see February 17th, version 1. So if you've, you know how the documents auto-save? One of the bad habits that I was in is I would open up a previous document that was formatted and set up how I wanted my new document to be. I'd open up the old document, do all the editing, and then save as a different name, save it as a different document. Because you've seen that OneDrive auto saves as you go, what happens is when you open up that old copy, or sorry, that other original document, as you start editing it, it's auto saving it. So it's saving all your changes. And this caught me out because of the way that I used to work. The way to stop that happening now, when you open a document, if you want to do that thing that I was just describing, you open the old document, Then you go save a copy. It doesn't, it won't even, I don't think it even says save as anymore. So you save a copy, you give it the new name, and then that is the new document that as you edit, it will auto save. But looking at the version history here, I can go back and I can, you know, I can open up the older versions and go, oh yeah, that's the one I needed, and I can restore it. So I can say, okay, use that, take that older version and make that the current version. So that's useful if you do what I was describing, making that rookie error. All right, so that's working with documents in OneDrive. You can see from the top menu here, there's some shortcuts to those things. A lot of things also happen if you right click on them. You know, you can just go rename instead of clicking more options. So it's pretty useful. It's so much more user friendly than all the stuff used to be, you know, 3 or 4 years ago. But the button I want to show you that will change your life is the sync button here. So I'm still in OneDrive, my files, sync. Now I want to show you what happens here. I've already done this and it's already set up for me, but when you click it, what it will do is it will sync your OneDrive, which is in the cloud. It will sync that with your computer. So OneDrive will be set up on your computer and it will show you all of the folders, all of the files that are available to you in your OneDrive. So if I just flick to Windows Explorer, okay, so yeah, we're all familiar with this here. You know, we normally scroll down the bottom and access servers that we're on. Now, what happens when I back in the day, last year or the year before, when I clicked that sync button in OneDrive, what it did is created this here for me. So in File Explorer, which is, you know, the yellow folder, which shows us all of our documents on our computer, it creates this OneDrive location, and then it starts showing me all of the folders and documents that are in my OneDrive. So if you have a look at the names, you'll see it's exactly the same. It's exactly the same thing because it's syncing. So both locations are keeping up to date. And essentially what happens, if I go into demo folder, I'll give you a demo of this. Here's this demo blank doc. Now you can see at the moment that little icon, the cloud, that means that document is in the cloud. I haven't opened it from this computer yet. Some of these other documents I have opened on this computer, and that's why that icon there is a green circle with a green check mark in it, because that document I've opened from this computer. When you do that, it actually downloads a copy, so it keeps a copy on your computer. Anything you change on there will sync back to the cloud, because the cloud is the point of truth. But if I open up demo blank doc, you'll see double clicking on it opens up Word. Okay, it didn't open up Word in the browser because this is from File Explorer. Now, more text. I thought I'd typed something else under there before. Let me just show you that it actually syncs. I'll show you that the magic is real. Editing. Add that. Actually, I'll see. No, I'll just do that. So if I just edit that and make it, say, a bit bigger, just to make sense. Now, see, it's saving. Autosave is on because it's stored in OneDrive. When I open it, it will just automatically start auto-saving. Even though this document is shared, I'm the only person here, so I'll just close that. All right, so from here, from File Explorer in my OneDrive, I've opened up that document. It opens up by default in Word. This one would open up by default in Excel. That one would open up by default in PowerPoint. But I just want to show you the syncing. I'm not sure if you can see it, but in the bottom right corner of my screen here, there's a OneDrive icon. It's a little blue cloud. And if I hover over it, it says it's all up to date. Now, if I just left click on it once, 39 seconds ago, it synced that demo blank document. So anything that I changed on it, it's synced it to the cloud. So now if I go to the cloud version of that document, it should have that change there. So if I just bounce back here and go to demo folder, demo blank doc, if I just click it once, it'll open in the browser. And there you go. So there's the change there, editing from my computer. So you can see that it syncs. So whether I open it from the web browser or whether I open it from File Explorer, whatever changes I make will sync, and because the document lives in OneDrive. I couldn't do that with a document that lived on my desktop or on this server. I'd have to be at school. So if I close that, so I just want to prove that syncing. Let me just go back to File Explorer. Now, just pausing for a minute because I want to check. Yep, you can see that good. Okay. Now, why is this a better view? So syncing will change your life because working with documents and folders, this is OneDrive, it all lives in the cloud, but working with documents and folders is so much easier here. Like if I want to create a new folder, you will know how to do this, but I can just go new folder, another folder. If you have a look in the bottom right corner on that OneDrive cloud, you'll see it'll do a little sync, little white circle with some arrows in it. It even says it's syncing up here, so it's pushing it up to the cloud. If I bounce back over here to my demo folder, I probably have to refresh the page, but you'll see that folder appears up in here. There it is there. So anything I do in here in File Explorer will sync to the cloud. So I could be creating new documents, editing documents, making new folders. To move documents, instead of right-clicking and then clicking move and then browsing to choose it, I could just select those documents there and just drag and drop them into that folder. And they will be there now. And eventually over here, those documents will move up. Maybe I'll just refresh that to make it happen quicker. So those documents have all now been moved into this folder. All right. Anything you do in here, it's just so much easier. Now remember too that because it's in OneDrive, it's in the cloud and it's syncing with the cloud. So this is available to you wherever you are. As long as you can get an internet connection, this will all sync. So you don't need to be at school, you don't need to be at CES, it will just sync. As long as you've got an internet connection and you are connected. There was something I was going to show you. I've just thought of something and went blank, so I'll move on. All right, that's really OneDrive. The next two are going to be a lot quicker because I'm pretty much just going to show you syncing. So there's my OneDrive. Again, I love, the more questions the better. I'm just going to go to a demo staff portal. So this is St. Isidore's, which Brisbane set up for us to be a demo school portal. On the left-hand side here, you can see that I've got these document libraries. So we've got some staff documents, school finance, school admin, leadership group docs. When you create a document library on the portal, you can change the permissions. So everything you see on the portal is based on who you are and what you have access to. So we could create a document library called school finance, and we can say, okay, only these 2 people at school can access it, or this 1 person at school can edit everything and this other 1 person can read. The options are endless, and it's up to you how you want to access it. But for example, you could say, okay, this school finance folder will let the finance officer and the principal access it, but we'll also let Luke Saunders and his team from CES access it as well. So you've got a group of people who can get into it. So let me just go into one of these here. I created one called School Admin. So if I open up this document library, probably the first thing you'll realize or notice is that it looks just like OneDrive. So it's the same deal. Okay, so in the portal, I could do this. I can go new folder and call it test folder because I'm not very creative. All right, so I've made that folder. I can do all the things in OneDrive. Yeah, I can click on here. I could move that document in there, copy it. I can share. All of the same options are available to me, including the sync button. So this is if you're using documents in the portal, you should be using the sync button, just because it's so much easier to work with documents. It's just like working from the server, except you can access them from anywhere. You don't have to be at school. So let me show you this here. So if I open up File Explorer again, okay, here is my OneDrive that we've just been looking at. But you'll notice above OneDrive, I've also got this location here that's called Catholic Education Diocese of Cairns. Now that's just everything that's under here is in a shared location. So at the moment, I'm already syncing a document library on a website that I manage called Digital Skills, and the document library is called Images. So what will happen when I click the sync button in the school portal, this document library here called School Admin will then appear in the shared location. So let me just do that. So I'll click sync. It asks for a few permissions. It also checks who I am, because you can only sync what you have access to. If I go back to File Explorer, move that here. All right, so here it is now. So Demo St. Isidore's is the name of this website. Your one will probably just say staff as a school. And the document library is the school admin library. And there's the documents here. And you can just sort of glance between the two and you can see that it's the same location. At the moment, all of these files are on demand, so I can click on them and open anything because I'm connected to the internet. And at the moment, because it shows a cloud, that means that there's a copy only in the cloud at the moment. If I go back to our, I know this is a different one. Let me open up this document here. See, it's syncing now. I'm in File Explorer, so it should, when I double click it, it'll open up in Word because it's a Word document. Oh, I didn't know there was going to be the all black picture there. All blacks. All right, so it's auto saving. I'm editing it in Word. Yeah, it didn't open up in Word Online and all that sort of thing, which it would do if I'd opened it up in the portal. If I close that, you'll notice that it's starting to sync now. So I edited it and it's syncing my change. The OneDrive, oh, it's already finished. Oh, here we go. The OneDrive icon down the bottom right here, below the mouse, that's synced and it's finished. The advantage of having this screen with the check mark here, it means that document is now available to edit if I didn't have a connection. So if I was offline, if Telstra was offline, if Microsoft was offline, whatever was going on, I can open that document and edit it because it's storing a copy on my computer. Any edits that I make offline, once I get connected, OneDrive, the OneDrive sync tool will go, oh, we're online again, have any documents been edited? And it will just sync those changes. So think of what I'm working on here. There's a document library in the portal. I've got access to it from here, and I can see and edit and change things. I could drag and drop folders and files into this space, and it will just sync and push them up to the portal. So that sync button makes working with document libraries in your portal so much easier. So what a lot of schools have done over the last year and a half, especially, is move documents from the move documents from the server into the portal, and usually started with the most common documents that they use, or the documents that most people want to access off site. Because remember, the advantage of having documents in your portal means you can access them from wherever you can get connected. So that's the main thing here. I'm not going to do it now, but I've got a couple of links which show you how to create document libraries, and also how to set the permissions on a document library. So if I go back to here. So in the staff section of your school portal, you can, and you'll probably already have some document libraries. So if you go into anyone, for example, if I go into school finance, any document library has this sync button. So when you click sync, it will then show up in File Explorer for you under here. And you don't have to sync the whole library. You could just go into a folder. So if I go back into maybe staff documents. Yeah, okay, so in staff documents, there's a folder called test folder. If I go inside that folder, there's nothing in there now, but I could sync just that location. So you don't have to sync the whole thing. If there's a folder in a document library that you access a lot, sync it to your computer and it just makes it so much easier. Now I'm just going to finish by showing you Microsoft Teams is new to a lot of people, but there's a section when you create a Microsoft team, there's a file section. Now this could get a little weird. Teams, show me that, go to here. Okay, yep. All right, so when you're in a Microsoft team like the Minerva uses, in the general channel, you see this files tab. So if I click that, this will show me the files that are inside this team that everybody in the team has access to. And if you look along the top, hey, this looks just like OneDrive, looks just like the portals, and here's that sync button. So if I'm using this location a lot to work on files, then I can just click sync. I'll show you, checks who I am. Now if I go back to File Explorer, there we go, eMinerva Users General, and there's those documents. So it's the same documents as in the team here, but I can access them from my computer. I can access them offline if I've opened them. If I open up sample slip, it's a PDF, so in my case it'll open up Adobe. But now there's a copy of that on my computer, so I can now access that even if I'm offline from anywhere. Super useful. That's it. That's really the main things I want to show you. What I'll do is now, sorry, let me just work this out. So I need to go here and here and that. So sending. All right, so I think now you can see me, and I think that's all you can see. No screen, not my desktop or anything like that. If you have any questions about OneDrive, portals, Teams, those document storage places, let me know. Send me a message through Teams or an email, whatever's the best way for you to get in touch with me. And I'll put something into that eMinerva group with the lists, the links to the different things. So I hope that was helpful. Hope I didn't speak too fast. Hope I didn't move the mouse too fast. Thanks for everyone who was here. And if you're watching on the video, hope it's all understandable. All right, I'm going to end the meeting now, so I think it'll finish for everybody. Thanks for coming.